You can see and the timing of the event.
And as we get deeper into severe weather season, we bring you the Weather Extra on just how many disasters we've seen across the country within the past year and that rare severe threat for parts of the Pacific Northwest.
Plus, we're on your side with the efforts of one environmental group whose main goal is to help enhance and give back to our planet.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan, Tania Michelle, as we're going to be talking about another First Alert Weather Day coming up on Monday.
Yes, on Monday, and we could certainly see it starting early in the morning. So starting off the work week with a bang.
And the month.
Yeah, that too.
It's the last day of March.
I know.
And it's just...
Well, the thing about this event, it looks like it's going to come in overnight Sunday and into Monday morning. And we've been watching it for a few days. It's just today we're seeing enough data. We have high enough confidence to know that it is going to be an impactful system. So let's talk about that. This is Monday now that we're talking about, so still several days out. A First Alert Weather Day. If we can go to the graphics here, we'll show you the next big thing. Well, there we go. So you can see on Monday a First Alert Weather Day, and you can see the SPC outlook. I wanted to share, this is what I wanted to show you coming up here for Sunday, areas to the north and west. That's where we have a broad outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and then you go into Monday and that risk slides further south into South Alabama, and that's the day that we're concerned about, mostly during the morning as this moves south across central and into South Alabama, which looks to happen around 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday to around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Severe storms will be possible, damaging wind, a hail threat, and that risk for a tornado is going to be there. So it's one of those setups overnight and into the early morning. Just got to watch it. Hopefully, we will see those storms lessen in intensity as they move further south. But looking at the forecast data, you can see for Sunday, most of the day we catch a break. There's going to be some scattered showers and storms Saturday. Now, Saturday's the day we need to watch the radar because we could have some scattered storms, but the main severe risk would be as we get into the early morning there on Monday. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan standing by right now, and Lauren's got some of the forecast guidance showing the instability, some of those parameters that we are going to be watching as we look ahead into the setup there into early next week. And it looks like Lauren, as we go into Monday, right now some instability could be around there in the morning hours.
Yeah, that's right, Wes. So looking at those severe ingredients as we get into your Monday, we are actually going to be seeing the potential for storms all weekend. It's just really not until Monday morning that we see the core of that potential arriving in our neck of the woods. So here we are Saturday morning, and what we're looking at are two of our severe ingredients that we use to forecast severe weather and see if that potential is there. So we have wind shear, which is that difference in wind speed or direction as you go up in height. So is there a difference between the wind speed and the direction at the surface versus higher up in the atmosphere? Because if that's the case, that could support some stronger winds, but also the potential for some spin. And then we also have storm fuel, that energy that helps to make our storms more robust. So here we are Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Winds aren't too impressive just yet. We have those winds at the surface and aloft. There's a trough digging down. You can see across the Gulf that we do have some instability locked up farther along the Gulf, but as we go forward in time, here we are Saturday afternoon seeing some of that instability, that storm fuel, that warmer, juicier air beginning to migrate into areas like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. So any severe issues off to our west. Now, could we get some storms Saturday? Sure, but we're not looking at a severe risk. Now, here we go Sunday at lunchtime. We are beginning to see some of that more unstable air migrating northward and the possibility of some of that wind shear in the atmosphere. But you can have all of that happen, but is there going to be storm development yet? A lot of our model data is suggesting we wouldn't have the bulk of the storms coming in until Monday morning. So we've got to see if there's going to be the potential for those ingredients to line up when the rain's actually coming through. It's a little intricate dance. Of course, we're going to hope for the fact that they don't line up, but right now as we look through Monday, we notice there's that more unstable air across Alabama, and there's going to be a dip in the jet stream, and there is going to be some really potent winds higher up in the atmosphere on Monday morning. We're talking about 30,000 feet up into the air, and that can get translated down into the surface, and that can actually lead to some stronger winds and the potential for more potent storms at the surface. So we're going to watch very closely for that supercell development on Monday morning. But this is also a good time to download the First Alert weather app. You'll be able to get the latest updates on the upcoming system for your exact location and receive those important alerts from the First Alert weather app and our team as they become available. And as we continue to track incoming severe weather across our area over the weekend, a rare severe weather event continuing to shape up across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Check out this view from Lincoln City, Oregon, where the water is already becoming choppy, causing the National Weather Service in Medford to declare gale and storm warnings due to strong winds and steep seas. Hazards from this evening's storm system could range from damaging hail to even an isolated tornado. And this all comes as a new report shows that the U.S. saw 90 declarations of major disasters in 2024. That means a disaster was declared every one in 4 days. Isn't that incredible? That's nearly double the average of 55. And these are typically declared by the president when an event surpasses the ability of state and local governments to respond. NOAA also saying that 27 of last year's weather and climate disasters caused more than $1 billion in damage. 41% of the U.S. population live in a county where a major disaster was declared in 2024.
Well, thanks, Lauren. Let's take you back home to central Alabama. Let's take a look now at that allergy forecast. It still doesn't look too great. We're still at an all-time high as far as pollen for our grass and our trees. I wouldn't say extreme, but still high. It's still a lot. You see it on your cars. You see it on the streets. You see it blowing in the air. Good thing winds were a lot lighter today than they were earlier this week because that pollen has just been blowing. But I know many people have the sniffles, and maybe the weed pollen might be causing you some issues too. The only pollen levels that we're seeing fairly low will be mold at this time. But we'll continue to keep you up to date on that allergy forecast, and hopefully things settle down for us as far as those pollen levels as we head into the month of April. And hey, this weekend we have rain. We need it because it'll help wash that pollen out. But for those of you at the beach or preparing to soak up some sun, these last few days of spring break, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with what you can expect down at the coast.
All right, spring break for a lot of people this week, so either you're already at the Gulf Coast or perhaps you're making plans to go to the beach later on this week going into this weekend. So just give you an idea, still kind of cold to be in the water, obviously. Typically as we go into late March, early April, those temperatures are still in the mid to upper 60s, so be mindful of that. In fact, the temperature right now is at 67, and ideally you want it to at least be 80 degrees. So speaking of the rip current threat along the Gulf Coast, tomorrow it's going to be low. You might see those yellow flags waving out across Gulf shores for that moderate rip current threat, but that rip current threat will likely increase as we approach the weekend. So you'll see those red flags. Definitely want to avoid it. That is predicted for Friday and again Saturday, and wouldn't surprise me if that gets extended going into Sunday and Monday. But the weather looks pretty nice as we finish out the week. Maybe you're planning on going to the beach tomorrow. We're looking good, mid-70s Thursday. Going into Friday, the winds will likely be a little breezy along the coast from the east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Could see some showers perhaps just to the west of Mississippi, Louisiana as we go into Friday evening, but generally dry on Friday. But Saturday, you may encounter some showers as a disturbance pushes through the southeast. So there could be some rain along the Gulf Coast into the Florida Panhandle. This continues into Saturday afternoon and evening. And the good news, I think for most of Sunday, could be relatively dry. And then we'll see another system impact the southeast, producing some stormy weather as we go into your Monday. So how much rainfall could we see over the next 5 days or so? Maybe about a half of an inch to an inch of rainfall. So just be monitoring that. Of course, if you're traveling down south, you can just monitor the forecast, of course, through the WBRC First Alert weather app. That could be very helpful for you. And just looking ahead towards the weekend, if I had to pick a drier day of the two, probably Sunday, but plan for some scattered showers and storms, low 70s Saturday and mid to upper 70s Sunday. And just remember, when thunder roars, go indoors.
Great advice there, Matt. Well, in 30 seconds, we're going to talk about what you can expect for your Thursday and continue to take you around the globe to places being impacted by raging wildfires. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan looking at those low temperatures overnight. Going to be fairly seasonable. We'll start off tomorrow morning in the 40s for a lot of us, but some areas across west central Alabama like Greensboro, Demopolis, Utah, Tuscaloosa may only get down into the 50s. So we're in that type of pattern where, yes, temperatures are running above average in the afternoon. Not that I'm complaining, but you always need that little light jacket in the morning to get you out the door, and then you can shed it in about a few hours. Now, as we look ahead to the weekend, we're really going to be seeing a significant warm up. Temperatures back into the upper 70s, low 80s, and that's going to set the stage for some more unsettled weather as we wrap up the month. So for the last weekend in March, Saturday, of course, we have that chance of scattered showers and storms, and it's likely going to be a little breezy on Saturday with those winds coming in out of the south and east. So you got that humid breeze coming in off of the Gulf. And then Sunday, remember, a lot of Sunday is going to be fairly quiet. It's really as we get into the overnight hours that we potentially see that possibility of storms. But man, Tania, this warmer weather, it is a breeding ground for some pests, isn't it?
Oh man, it sure is, Lauren. Listen, we were just talking earlier about how we actually need a critter counter because the mosquitoes may not be high, but I know if you're outside, you probably have seen the wasps, the bumblebees spreading all that pollen. I mean, man, the little critters are starting to come out and about, and they're enjoying this warm weather just as much as we are. But here we are looking at the mosquito meter, our skeeter meter, I should say, over the next couple of days for your Thursday, medium, and it looks like a moderate level of mosquitoes for your Friday and your Saturday. Good thing is we will have rain around for the weekend, but hey, I think those mosquitoes like the little wetness that comes about. So hopefully it doesn't ramp up as we head into Saturday and Sunday, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that skeeter meter for you. Just keep in mind, if you have kiddos that get bit by those mosquitoes a lot, make sure they're wearing that bug spray. But in California, places that were impacted by the devastating Eaton fires just 2 months ago could become mosquito breeding grounds. With no source to change out the water, pools have turned into natural ponds full of dirty, murky water. It's a perfect condition for mosquitoes to grow, especially now that warmer weather is coming. Experts say one pool could breed up to 1 million mosquitoes a month.
Well, one swimming pool can breed up to 1 million mosquitoes or grow up to 1 million mosquitoes in 1 month. So with thousands of swimming pools in that area, we think that it could be a significant increase.
To prevent this, owners can choose to have their pools drained or removed altogether.
And as we continue talking about devastating wildfires happening across the globe, we take you now to South Korea, where containment efforts of these fires has honestly been struggling. As of today, these wildfires have burned nearly 43,000 acres of land as they're being fueled by dry air and strong winds. There have been at least 18 fatalities with 19 others being injured, and more than 10,000 firefighters, police, civil servants have been called to fight these blazes. These flames also causing a 1,300-year-old temple to completely burn to the ground. Well, still ahead, we bring you the latest on the First Alert weather day for next Monday and take you down to the Georgia coast where they're saving the environment, one oyster shell at a time. We'll be right back.
All right, we got some incredible weather right now, but a day I'm watching, just put this on your radar. Monday, we have a first alert weather day, another system. It's going to be impactful, some wind, some heavy rain, some rumbles of thunder moving through here. Could we see severe storms? That possibility is there this time of the year. We also need to watch for that risk of a tornado and some damaging wind gusts. But again, this is Monday, so still this could change, but I'm just making sure that you are aware it's a system. It's been showing up for a few days, so it's still there. I'm seeing north and west especially a greater risk. Actually, Sunday, significant severe threat is going to set up north and west of Alabama, and what's left of that's going to move in by Monday morning, and it pushes south. The thing about this time of the year, you know, a lot of times we have storms that move through overnight. That instability a lot of times will fade away and storms will weaken, but this time of year it can stay warm, it can stay unstable, so even during the morning hours you can have that threat of a tornado. So we need to watch that closely there in Monday morning. Hopefully this behaves. Now, first up, I mentioned dry tonight, tomorrow, and through Friday. And you can see the forecast data shows tomorrow afternoon a nice warm up out there. And then tomorrow night's lows much milder into early Friday morning. We'll see a lot of 50s. Friday, some clouds move in, nice warm up into the 80s. The breeze picks up into Saturday and moisture starts moving in. And it looks like Saturday morning, if you have morning plans, the way this is timing out, it looks like midday into the afternoon, there's a chance for some rain to move in. Also, we don't want to sleep on Saturday because we could have a couple thunderstorms in the mix, and some of those could produce some gusty winds and hail. There's actually a warm front that's going to be lifting north. You can see right in there the chance that we could see a couple of storms to the south. That's the high resolution data. At this point, that's from our IBM model that we have in-house. It only goes out through midday Saturday. So we're starting to get into that range where we actually have some high resolution data that will tell us a much better picture here of what's going to happen in the next week. But I'm still thinking with respect to that Sunday night threat, most of the day Sunday looks good. This comes in overnight and into Monday morning. There's 7 o'clock in the morning. So again, first part of the day we'll have to watch out there early Monday for that risk of strong to severe storms. Now tomorrow, winds out of the southeast at about 5 to 10. We've got the breeze. We've got highs in the 70s. Beautiful day coming up. Here's the 10-day forecast. Monday, the day we have highlighted for the severe storm risk. Tuesday, some improvements, but there could be a couple showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. So we have some April showers back in the forecast. Looks like especially to the south on Tuesday, but I still think plenty of breaks in the mix through the middle of next week. Tania?
All righty, Wes, let's take our friends beyond the 7-day. We're looking at the Climate Prediction Center's temperature outlook first. And as you look across the U.S., below average temperatures for the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. Then we move to much of the U.S., much of the United States dealing with above average temperatures heading into the first few days of April 3rd through April 9th. So this is our temperature outlook about 10 to, I would say about 10 days out or so. Okay, so that's what we're watching right here. As we zoom in here, notice that we're included in those above average temperatures right here across central Alabama. So hopefully more warm days will stick around for us, and I'm pretty certain about that. Precipitation outlook April 3rd through April 9th. It looks like much of the U.S. honestly dealing with more rainfall than average. So above average rainfall is expected for much of the United States April 3rd through April 9th. And as we zoom in here across central Alabama, looks like the top half of the state could be dealing with more above average rainfall, but much of the southern half of the state dealing with more near average rainfall. So as we approach April 3rd through April 9th, hey, I'm not looking at just a ramped up amount of rain that could be impacting your outdoor plans when it's so warm outside. So that's good to know. But hey, that grass is probably going to grow no matter what. We'll keep you up to date about that beyond the 7-day forecast right here Monday through Friday on First Alert Weather Extra. Lauren?
And Tania, now we travel over to Georgia to learn about a new sustainability initiative to help better protect the coastline. I spoke with Tom Bliss with UGA Shellfish Research Lab and Aaron Arneson, a seafood specialist at UGA Marine Extension and Georgia Sea Grant, to hear about how restaurants are doing their part to prevent oyster shells from going from the table and directly into the landfill.
So the We Recycle Shell initiative is a new partnership between UGA Marine Extension and Georgia Sea Grant, Shell to Shore, and the Coastal Resource Division of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. So the We Recycle Shell initiative is a new partnership between UGA Marine Extension and Georgia Sea Grant, Shell to Shore, and
All right, welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra, and we are looking at some of those lovely spring photos.
Yeah, and we had some technical difficulties with that story. We're going to be sure to try to run it tomorrow on that cool recycling initiative along the Georgia coast. But in the meantime, we wanted to show you these beautiful photos from across our home state here in Alabama. I think this one was taken in Auburn by viewer Josh Brown. And how about that gorgeous sunset, Tania?
Oh my goodness,
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful.
That's
I mean,
beautiful.
I don't know where they were at because they caught the highway and the distance too, but
Oh,
hey.
and don't you love a pollinated pond?
No.
It just really gets you in those springtime vibes. So yeah, the pollen is everywhere. As Tania was mentioning with that allergy forecast, it has been ridiculously potent recently.
Yes, and with it being so dry, that hasn't
Yes.
helped.
No. So, I mean, okay, we'll get some rain and storms this weekend, but unfortunately that comes at a price, right?
It does.
We still have that potential for some strong storms. And speaking of storms, Wes, we actually just had an anniversary recently of a tornado outbreak.
Yeah, this week marks the 4-year anniversary, and I know folks around Eagle Point and Ohatchee, sadly that day we had 6 fatalities across the area. That was comparing to the 15th, that was the last big high-risk day that we really had around here. And you can see in that image right there, that's some of the drone video that we had from Ohatchee. That was an EF3 tornado that moved through that area. Now, the one tornado that moved through Shelby County at Eagle Point, I remember we tracked that thing for like an hour hour before it even got to Shelby County.
Right.
Wow.
So long track supercells, you know, that's the thing this time of the year. You've got to watch out for that. And also, one thing about what's cool about Facebook is you get the Facebook memories, right? That
They
pop
pop up,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I saw some memories popping up on this date a couple years ago, some big hail producers around Jemison. We saw some, I mean, like baseball size in parts of the area. So, you know, thinking back to the storms you were covering Sunday night, we had all the hail across parts of the area. We got to watch out for that with this system coming up here on Monday. Some big hail producers, gusty winds. Hopefully the storms behave, but it looks like we're in that cyclical pattern now. It's Sunday night and into Monday. We've got to watch it.
Yeah, and listen, you can never be too prepared. We're in that spring severe weather season period. Always make sure you know where your safe place is, and you can always get updates from us right here. We'll have more updates for the rest of your week tonight at 9 and 10.